in high school, right? When I grew up in New York, right? Most nights I played against more athletic players.
Yeah.
Right? Just in general, I just did. So I always felt like I had to be more prepared, just, even back then. So it wasn't something I just picked up. In college, the reason I started going back to shoot at night was that I used to go through practice. Coach Carnesecca back, probably Lou also was right. We'd have these long 4-hour practices and talk. Right? I'd go the whole practice, wouldn't shoot. But the next day in the game, I had to score 20 points. I hadn't taken a shot, so I would go back to get my shots. So that's kind of how that started for me. The time of my life that you're talking about, it was a combination of a lot of restless energy, because I was still, figuring out a new way of life, right? I did a lot of, because I had a lot of extra energy. I did. So working out became a passion for me. It did, still is. It's something like a discipline I like to stick to that I do no matter what, and the rest of my things will fall in place. As I get older, I have to pick up other activities, but I still do something to maintain some physical health. And I told you that today in the radio. I said part of it too was it was kind of before and after. Like I felt I had squandered some time, not only professionally on the court, that's events to make with family and friends and things like that. Yeah, but it was like, man, and plus I was enjoying it. Everything just got more fun. I couldn't wait for the next day. And I always felt like the game was the time to like show off what you worked on, right? But you got to work out there to show it off. So it's kind of like that. And I was always taught, like Coach Carnesecca, growing up in New York, he always talked to us about, when we had games at the Garden. So rehearsal, I was always taught rehearsal is everything. He referenced Carnegie Hall. A great piano player doesn't just show up at Carnegie Hall. Practice. And then they can make it look easy because of the rehearsal. So that was kind of ingrained in me. 84 was a time, we were all in college. And we're lucky I was a junior. If I was a senior, I was done. So it's just the fortunate time of it. 92, I was breaking into his shoes. I said, if it wasn't for Mitch in the 88 team that lost, we wouldn't have had a chance to play in 92. So Mitch and those guys went there and lost their sole career.
Did you pay him?
Of course. But so they opened it up. I happened to be playing at a high level. Obviously everyone knows the international game is more focused on shooting, 3-point shooting. Just so timing, I was just blessed. Right? So they picked the team. The rest of the summer was, when most people know about the roster, of course, managing guys I looked up to. Michael and Patrick, I had played with through high school and college. We played at 84 together. John and Carl and David and just Pat. Who's that? Clyde Drexler. Yeah, just an incredible group of guys. Every day was like a dream. You talk about dreams. Every day, we trained in San Diego. We played a lot of people know we had to qualify for them, so we lost. So we had to win that big tournament for them. Pretty good. We had to beat Pat on the final. But and then we took a little break. Went to Monte Carlo, had a training camp there, and then went to Barcelona. So while we were there, I think we were playing like at 10 o'clock local time. We had no practice. Michael was playing like 36 holes a day. And then we show up at 10 o'clock at night, just like blow people out. So, but it was much when you talk about our friendship and Mitch and Tim and Ron, the guys from our team. That team has stayed very close over the years. It's one of those things that, look, there's been great Olympic teams throughout the history of Olympic basketball, but that was the first time NBA guys did it. The one thing we did do as a group, as players, where we always talked about, not only we were going to win, we knew that, but to set a high standard of the way we play, like for the team to come behind us. And not just the margin of victory, but the style of play. And a few days in, we were in San Diego, and everyone was kind of like tiptoeing around each other, not really playing their game. And with the kind of scrimmage with the college kids, it became legendary that they kind of beat us. And so, but from that point on, it became a team, and that was pretty cool. You don't always get the most talented guys, and they don't bond. But as I said earlier, the age of guys was perfect. everyone was secure in their career. No one was trying to prove who they were, right? It was you know, because you always say, how do we get a team to come together for one goal? We were there for one reason. And so, Magic and Larry, they were elite. They were older guys. They were established legends already. Michael and Charles were the best players at that time, you know, on the court. They were the guys who dominated. And the rest of us, we did what we did. And, you know, I wasn't throwing down punts. I was shooting threes. That's what I was doing. That's what I was there for. I was passing the ball. So having that established, because you see, after that, the teams that struggled, the age dynamic or the guy that wasn't established hierarchy, so to speak, the team itself. So Larry and Magic didn't play that much, really, but the respect was there. So we just kind of followed it.
How were the scrimmages? They must have been incredible.
Yeah, practices were awesome. You know, they were short and sweet. Chuck really, did you play Chuck?
I did not play.
So Chuck was obviously by then already coached the Detroit Pistons to championship, so he had that perfect feel. So he wasn't, you know, we weren't practicing for 2 hours, but there would be enough, you know, organization and then just enough competition, and just to stay sharp. So with that legendary scrimmage they talk about in Monte Carlo, I wouldn't say it was the greatest basketball game ever played. I wouldn't say that.
Chris, 1985, Big East dominance. Villanova, Georgetown, and your St. John's University, all in the Final Four. That's amazing. That's like the SEC football of today. Big East dominance in 1985. What was it like during the regular season to play against Villanova and Georgetown and then see those same individuals in Kentucky for the Final Four? If you could tell us about 1985.
The Big East Conference, that's when ESPN first launched the college basketball network, for a conference. So the thing exploded, right? So I remember when I first came out here in '85, that was typical matchups, right? So Villanova, they couldn't beat us. For 4 years, they couldn't beat us. We had their number, we had good matchups. They had Eddie Pickney, who was, you know, I played AU basketball with him, Dwayne McClain. I don't know what our record was. Like Syracuse, they couldn't beat us either. We couldn't beat Georgetown. And Georgetown was as good as a college team. For the 4 years I was in school, they had 2 or 3 7-footers. They had length across the perimeter, they had point guards, and they were incredibly aggressive. How they lost that game, I don't know. So when we went to the Final Four, it was, like you said, Villanova, St. John's, Georgetown, and Memphis. At that time, they called Memphis State, Keith Lee. We lost to Georgetown, so we were probably the 2 best teams, really, because we were 1 and 2 that whole year. So they beat us. And then Villanova upset Memphis State. And then in the finals, they shot, I think, 83% from the field, which is kind of unheard of, right? There was no shot clock on the 3-point line. You got to understand. So which really is a different sport. It really is. Yeah, but they upset us. And I'm friends with Eddie, so I spent a lot of time with Patrick the last 4 years playing against Georgetown. But one of the greatest upsets in college basketball history, no question about that. But again, you talk about, you go through things and compete and friendships, right? So that's what it comes down to.